Thank you guys here for joining me on the last segment of today's show. Starting a new little mini series here. We haven't done one in a while, so I wanted to start one up today, going through each division and addressing the biggest unanswered questions I see going through each division and each team in that division as we go along and move along the second half of the NFL season. There's a lot still I think to find out about these teams. So I thought it would be interesting to bring it up and see what we could look forward to, and maybe if they answer these questions, how far they could go, talking playoffs, talking, into the offseason and long-term plans, not just in 2024. So we're going to start off in the NFC North and go through each division through each day, obviously. So without further ado, looking at the first team here in the NFC North, the team that's playing the best football and in my eyes is the best team in the NFL would be the Detroit Lions. And what do you still have to find out about the team that's playing the best, that looks like has the best identity, the best game plan, and just is steamrolling all these teams, right? But to me, the biggest question I still have about the Lions is, will we see a more conservative approach from them going forward in big moments in the playoffs, like we did, or like we didn't see last year in the NFC Championship game? That's exactly where I directly go with this Lions team, because last year against San Francisco, where they were up 24-7, excuse me, at halftime in the conference championship game, right? They went out there, they punched San Francisco in the mouth, and they had double or multiple touchdown lead score above the Lions, right? And it felt like everybody was kind of asking themselves, like, are we really about to see the Lions dominate the 49ers like this and go to the Super Bowl? But it obviously didn't turn out like that, right? Largely because they never attempted a field goal in the second half when they could have twice, especially in hindsight, now looking back on it. You lose this game by 3 points, and if you would have kicked those two field goals, obviously, if everything turned out the same, they would have won this game, right? And obviously, hindsight is 2020, but in the playoffs, they're gonna go through the regular season and probably win a bunch of games, if not all of them. Um, we're looking at the playoffs because this team is that good, where we know they're gonna be there, we know they're gonna go deep in the playoffs, so we need to talk about the big moments with them already. In the playoffs, the points matter. The points matter a lot, and I think everything is just enhanced a lot more in the playoffs, right? And everything is so close. All these games are tightly contested that I don't think a field goal or not scoring touchdowns should be taken for granted or should be, discredited in a way. I understand and I love the Lions staying true to their identity. Dan Campbell, Motor City Dan Campbell, the energy that he brings, the persona that he brings to this team, they embody everything that he, is as a person, as a character, right? That's all great, and I love that they're aggressive and can do all those sort of things. But still, I think in a situation like the championship game where, they tried once when they were clearly in field goal range, and they went for it and they didn't get it. All right, that's fine. You're still being aggressive. You still went out there and did it. But especially when San Francisco had the lead at this point, and there was a moment where it was 27 to 24. The 49ers are now winning. They went on a 20 to nothing run, and now you're losing, right? You're the Lions. You can't get much going on offense, and you have an opportunity here to kick a field goal and at least tie the game up and try and stop this momentum a little bit from the 49ers, but you still go out there and go for it and you don't get it. Obviously, when the 49ers have all the momentum, they stop you on fourth down and everybody goes crazy. They go out there and score another touchdown, and now you're down 10 points, and it leaves you with no time. So it's those moments where the big decisions, the big fourth downs, taking a field goal, being a little bit conservative, even though it might look like weak, or all that nonsense people say about kicking field goals, going for two, or going for the touchdown and things like that. Going for two and going for moments like this isn't like weak or looked down upon. Don't take it for granted, and I'm wondering whether or not we're going to see more of a conservative approach from the Lions, playing it a little bit smart, not scared, not weak, but just being a little bit smart with it and not putting all their chips in the middle of the table, right? So that's what I want to see. That's what I'm still wondering about this Detroit Lions team going forward. Now moving on to the Vikings, really to me is protecting Sam Darnold and also the Vikings helping Sam Darnold, right, is one thing, but can Sam Darnold, also do things like on his own, go out there and win them a game, right? When they're struggling on defense, maybe where the protection still isn't there, can he still, stand in there and take a hit, know that he's going to get hit, and deliver big time throws, convert third downs, fourth downs, touchdowns over field goals and things like that? Is he capable of doing that here down the stretch where they're still going to play the Lions again, they're still going to play the Packers again, they're going to play the Bears obviously twice, but there's still some big games to go, and executing on third downs and things like that is huge for this team going forward, because recently we have seen them kind of be a little bit sluggish on that side of the ball. In the first half against Indianapolis, it didn't look good at all. Then last week against the Jaguars, they looked a little bit shaky. There were some more turnovers in the red zone. They had a lot of 7-8 play drives that they just didn't get touchdowns out of, and you can't do that in the bigger games where you just have chance after chance after chance, and you don't score touchdowns or you don't convert big third downs like that. A lot of it falls on obviously their protection. Sam Darnold's been sacked a lot recently, but also Sam Darnold, right? The beginning of the year was fantastic, right? But now we're getting serious. Now we're getting down to it. Are you able to make these plays for us? That's really the question that is going to be needed to be answered by Sam Darnold, I think, especially because they have all the talent, right? You can't ask for much more from Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. You have everybody. Now it just falls on Sam Darnold's shoulders, and that's what comes with being a quarterback. So can he be able to do that in the biggest of moments is yet to be seen. Then the Green Bay Packers, kind of similar to the Vikings here. Jordan Love, will the real Jordan Love please show up for the second half of the year? It's looked a little bit off. It's looked a little bit shaky with Jordan Love. He's looked a little bit careless with some of the throws that he's made, and the offense just doesn't look as rhythmic as I would have expected, right? I think I expected this team to look more so like who's a good example? Like a little bit less than the Lions, because the Lions go out there and just beat you right away with how many touchdowns they score, instantly once the game starts. I didn't expect the Packers to look like that, but just not too far off of that, and still, it hasn't looked close to that at all. They're awful on third down this year. They're second to last in third down conversion rate, and that doesn't help. Talking about rhythm, talking about getting into a groove with this offense, not being able to convert on third down is a problem, especially when you're second to last down there with the Carolina Panthers is a huge problem. So the defense has been good enough. They're one of the leaders in takeaways and things like that, preventing touchdowns with takeaways and things like that. But the offense needs to be better. Jordan Love needs to be better. And, as a little bit of context, Jordan Love has at least one interception in each game that he's played in this year. And you might not think that's a big deal considering the Packers are 6-3, but you don't want to be, negligent to the fact that, this is okay for our quarterback to throw a turnover each and every game. That's not, high level of football, right? The great players that he's going to see in the playoffs, protect the ball. Brock Purdy, the Jalen Hurts over the last few games hasn't been really turning the ball over. And a bunch of other quarterbacks I can name, Jared Goff, obviously, they're not beating themselves. And if you're beating yourself on top of trying to beat the Lions, it's not going to work out for you. So I'm looking for Jordan Love to be more like himself, to be more careful with the ball and just more disciplined with it. And if he could do that, if he could step up and he gets a little bit more rhythm, I think it'll help the third downs a lot, and it'll make it easier for them going forward. So all those teams that I just mentioned have goals to focus on for 2024. And the last team we have here is obviously the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, what they need to have answers for is how can they help Caleb Williams, not just this season, right, for the last few games here, but going forward after 2024, right? How to see Caleb, actually progress and get better. Look at least a little bit more comfortable back there, not so panicked and frantic when he has the ball, when he can't find anybody and is just running around there like a headless chicken. I think that is really the most concerning thing about it, that he kind of just bails too early, or he holds on to the ball too long because he doesn't want to make a mistake, or he doesn't want to take a sack and things like that, but he eventually does. He's trying to do too much, and I think helping him, finding him to play within the system and trust what he sees, and also changing it up a little bit, because I don't think what Shane Waldron was running really fit them or really helped Caleb out too much. So finding something that makes him comfortable and gets him rolling a little bit earlier, right? Quicker throws like screens to begin the game, or option routes, right? To just get him in a rhythm, and then you have routes that, systematically, play into each other, right? Not just looking at a play sheet and picking whatever play and just going randomly like that. Having it be sequenced and having it build up to something is eventually where you want to get to. But for right now, find that rhythm, find ways to get Caleb the ball to his playmakers a lot quicker, not hold it too long. Again, just trust what he sees and play within the offense. And also just move the pocket for him a little bit, not just be so static like a college level offense where he's in the gun, he's just sitting there and he's waiting, thinking he has all the time in the world. He overestimates it, and he gets sacked at the end of it. So, running play actions, bootlegs, things like that, where it's a lot easier to make reads and all these sort of throws. I think it's a way to go about it, at least here at the start, right? They're going to still need to find a new offensive coordinator, obviously, probably a new head coach. So this isn't what the long-term thing is going to be, but the goal, at least right now, how can you help them? How can you see a little bit of what you saw at USC, all the good things, but also improving from that, because you obviously need to get better from the college level. So the Bears, the unanswered question, how do you help Caleb Williams here? How do the other players help him out? And how do you just get this offense rolling, finding some sort of momentum here to end 2024? There's going to be a lot of bumps because their schedule is crazy, but it's baby steps, right? They got to progress through it. He's not going to look like Jaden Daniels at the end of the year, obviously, but if you could get close to at least comfortable and confident back there with Caleb, that's all you could ask for, in my opinion. So that wraps it up. Those are all the teams in the NFC North and what I'm looking for them to kind of find answers to in the rest of 2024 and going forward. But that'll do it for us here on the Chip Shot Football Podcast. Thank you guys for joining me on today's show. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the show, as well as following the network on all forms of social media. If you want to check out more of the Chip Shot Football Podcast, you can look at the Podcast Network channel and the GSMC Sports Network channel on YouTube for more of the Chip Shot Football Podcast and also more coverage around the NFL. And lastly, join me, Manny Maradiaga, every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time for more discussions, breaking news, debates, coverage just around the NFL and football in general, each and every weekday. Like I said, we're just a few minutes here away from Thursday Night Football, so go out there, watch the game, and come back tomorrow where we're going to react to it as well as wrap up the week and look forward to the weekend for Week 11 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to